look at it and be like, oh, he didn't get that right. I'm not going to watch.
Should be live now, I think. Ah, Funky Chicken is eaten at the minute.
Right, oh, by the way, it is Spanish, according to the other YouTube videos, though.
Oh.
It doesn't matter. I was just quickly looked.
We can just change the stream title after.
Yeah.
No harm done. Good evening everyone and welcome along to TTML F1. We are here for Season 7, round number 2 of the Championship as we take on the Spanish Grand Prix from the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia. My name is James Head, going to be taking to the stream as always here on a Sunday night, now on Twitch, and joining me in the commentary box is Mr. Pepsi Freak. Pepsi, how are you doing?
It's so good to be on Twitch now. I can get the hot tub out, and I think we're ready to go and have a nice little fun stream. Make sure you send your donations, and we'll make sure things happen. But anyway, though, it's going to be a good race here for the Spanish GP. I think it's going to be pretty fun, and hopefully the error wash isn't too bad.
Yeah, definitely. So I've just had a notification, by the way, saying that we are live. I know that we're live because I'm actually watching the live stream as we're going on right now. In terms of the standings, by the way, coming into tonight, Jensen, of course, taking round 1 in Bahrain. Fantastic win from him as well. And it was a really good result, actually, for Red Bull last week. Jensen, of course, winning 30 points to his name. Rudy in second on 25, and MedTC in third on 20. Funky Chicken in fourth on 17. Black Box in fifth on 15. Lynx in sixth on 14. Fleddy in seventh on 13. Basti in eighth on 12. Boss Wanted also tied on 8th on 12 points, and Smalley in 10th on 10 points. Chris there in 11th on 9. Cosbury in 12th on 8. Hyper in 13th on 7, and then Khan in 14th on 6 points. Chokers, Juan Rocco, Davey, Harry Banks, Ares and Luca either didn't attend last week or they DNF'd out of the race. And Jensen, of course, holding sway over his title rival last season. It's a bit like the olden days, to perhaps, last season. Well, obviously, Jensen took the title, Rudy was in second, and that's how they ended up after the first round.
Yeah, that's the situation. I think, looking at it though, Rudy and MedTC did show some good pace in that first half. Also, we have to remember that Alfa Romeo driver who was Orti Besti, who was also pretty fast as well at Bahrain. And they had good first half pace, but like a soccer team, when the second half hits, they didn't make those second time adjustments, and it allowed Jensen to get away, and he kind of played the traffic perfectly. So I don't think Jensen put his flag in the ground and said, I'm here, come at me. But he does have some good challengers, and they can find that good second half pace, or find that in the second half race pace after the pit stops. I don't think we can take him lightly. So Jensen may have won the first round, but this war is far from over.
Yeah, war is far from over indeed, and of course it is only the first round of the championship. That means, obviously, drivers are going to be hoping for very good results as we go, of course, through the season. Red Bull, by the way, leading the constructor standings as well. They're on 50 points. Mercedes in second on 42. Again, bit like last season. McLaren in third on 27. Alfa Romeo on fourth on 22. Haas in fifth on 15, along with Aston Martin. Alpine in 7th on 12, Williams in 8th on 9, and Scuderia Ferrari in 9th on 6 points. And Red Bull, of course, holding that advantage, around an 8-point advantage compared to Mercedes currently. But, as I say, first round of the championship, everyone now getting into the swing of things, and Mercedes have got probably a chance to bite back here in Spain.
Yeah, they'll fight. They have a good chance to fight back here. Again, it's going to be hard to make that 1-2 punch of Red Bull. Very hard to end up beating that. But I still think it's not the end of the world, and I think they will fight back, and this could be a good equalizer track, because if you qualify well, you'll be able to kind of hold the train, and let's say Rudy ends up getting ahead, he may be able to kind of help out his teammate there, and maybe give him some more spots that could help him out in the end.
Yeah, definitely so. It is obviously going to be really interesting to see how drivers cope, of course, with the Spanish Grand Prix, and how, of course, the action actually goes on out on track. Cosby, by the way, is asking for a delay. I'm not delaying at all in terms of the action. So, with that being said, I think we can probably get the drivers now to ready up. And the Chelsea and Liverpool match is going on at the minute. I'll try and keep you up to date if I can with the score, but at least we've got 15 drivers here ready to go. So, I'm going to give the orders to give a go-ahead.
Start those engines.
Yeah, start those engines.
The quote a NASCAR line, start your engines, and get firing up qualifying.
Yeah, definitely. So we're not waiting for one driver, by the way, watching football. That's a little bit of a joke, to be honest, I've got to say. But of course, we are here at Spain, Circuit of Barcelona, Catalonia, 4.6 kilometres and then 2.8 miles, 16 turns awaiting our drivers out on track with the 2D rest-ons, of course, one down the start-finish straight and one down, of course, down into La Caixa at turn number 10. And Pepsi, it is one of these tracks where I think the viewers and us as commentators absolutely love. Drivers seem to struggle with it, though, especially with the curbs.
Yeah, someone that's driven this track in leagues, those curves can bite you, and they can be a real you-know-what in the you-know-where. And it's a situation where it just feels kind of off. And if you hit a corner wrong, and it ends up spinning around, it's like Bahrain on steroids with that one tricky corner. And if you make one mistake, you end up the wrong way around. You may be lucky you not hit anything, or you may end up hitting a wall, and that is race done, tires sheared off. And good luck, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, definitely so, and obviously we saw quite a few incidents in League 2, in TTML F2, during the week, and that, of course, was one of the, probably the better races, I've got to say, the season so far. Well, not in terms of, obviously, the action, but also in terms of the lack of spins and the lack of safety cars and VRCs that we actually had. It comes to show we've got a very good group of drivers, of course, here in F2. We're just waiting on Funky Chicken, by the way, to ready up. Apparently, he is eating his dinner at this moment in time, so that's why I've had to give the orders for everyone to get going ahead. Hopefully he will come out on track within this qualifying session, which is going to be beautiful blue skies and sunshine, exactly what we like to see, and puts everyone really on a fair playing field where we should see drivers, I think, some of them starting on a set of mediums.
I wouldn't be shocked if some head out the mediums, especially Jensen, BTC, Rudy. Some drivers that got that good pace, they'll definitely be out there on a set of mediums, kind of testing out the track. I do think some drivers will go out there on a set of softs as well, and I think no driver, in that top... obviously, I don't think any driver in the top 10 will be on a set of softs to start this race. And, yeah, I think we're going to see most people switch onto a set of softs. But right now, looking at the list, Jensen, Black Box, and Lynx are the only two drivers that have mediums currently selected. And I think the first driver out on the track is someone, it is Jensen, so Jensen will kind of lead the way here on his set of mediums.
Yep, on that set of medium compound size, current champion, of course, here in TTML F1, and also current championship leader going into this season, or going into this round, I should say, round 2 here in Spain. And Jensen was epitome of quickness. First half of the race wasn't too impressive, to be honest, from Jensen's perspective, and then the second half of the race, he just seems to absolutely fly around the track. We saw it at Bahrain, we saw it last season as well, and Jensen just seems to have that moniker, I think, of really picking up good performances, especially in the second half of the race, and around a track like Spain, he should absolutely excel here.
Yeah, it could be a track that's really well, and as long as you keep your line right, you should be okay, and it's a situation where, again, I think he may excel, and he's got that good second half pace, so if he kept that pit stop, he keep that form, he'll definitely be someone to watch out for as the going gets tough, as they would say.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm just going to ping everyone, by the way, in the Discord chat about the link. Hopefully we can get some viewers. There's only 3 of us tuning in. I'm one of them. Kermit's another. Not sure who the third one might be. Jensen, though.
I think it may be me.
Might be you. Terrible, we're just talking to ourselves, I think, at this stage then. Jensen coming through the right-hander of turn 15, through New Holland corner at turn 16. Let's see what Jensen can set in terms of the lap times. He now comes down in towards turn number 1, and we'll see what the Brit can do. Reaching probably in excess of 195 mile an hour on the run down in towards turn 1. That is Carsby just coming out the pit lane to the right-hand side of him. Now Jensen coming through turn 1, catching the curb through turn 2, and now through the right-hander of turn number 3. And this is a nice first sector. There's a car off there on the track, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and actually Jensen not happy with turn 2. He's actually backed off this lap, so interestingly not on a lap. I think Khan has just started up on a lap, as has Black Box. Black Box is furthest on, coming to the end of the first sector, on board with him now, coming through turn number 4, and then down in towards Seat at turn number 5. Of course, branding sponsors normally make up the corner names around here, so don't be surprised if I'm seeing a lot of branding here tonight. Black Box coming through the left-hander now of 7, then the right-hander of 8, and then in towards this flat right-hander of turn number 9. If you've got balls of steel, you will really, really push in terms of getting the car negotiated on the curb nicely, and Black Box did that to perfection. 50.7 through the middle sector from Black Box, and that comes through the left-hander of turn number 10. Then through 11, then through the right-hander of turn number 12, here at Bank Sabadell. And Bank Sabadell, of course, being the bank corner, basically, translates to in English. Coming through 13 with Black Box again, running wide, slightly missing the curbs. just a little bit cautious, I think, through the corners. Through 15, now through New Holland corner at turn 16, on the run to the line. Should see a 17 here, I think, with Black Box. Yeah, 17-3 for Black Box to start off the night. Drivers also on a lap, Smalley on a lap. Lynx, by the way, goes quicker, and he's 6 tenths quicker than Black Box. It just comes to show what, I wouldn't say a shabby lap time that Black Box had, just off the pace, and Khan there on a set of softs has gone third.
Yep, Khan set P3rd. He finished, had an AFE qualifying last time. Was just coming to terms of the game. Is now Med TC on a set of softs. Shows what the softs can do if the power is put down. The times will probably prove. We'll definitely see him get into the 115s easily. But Med kind of sets the way here on softs, while you could say Lynx maybe they show what the mediums can do here and see the pace gap on a difference. Other than that, trying to see who else is coming through a lap here. I think Rudy's about to finish a lap here, so we'll see what Rudy can do here. Can he get any higher up the softs? Yes, he will. 1:15.719. So I said Med TC was the pace of the class. Well, I guess I kind of got one up by Rudy there. So Rudy is now P1 at the moment. See if anyone else is on a run right now. I think, yep, no one else is. Actually, I think Wouse Juan is about to finish his lap, so we'll see what he can do in his Alpine. Can he get anywhere close to Rudy or Lynx? It'll be P4, so he'll be the second fastest on a set of mediums.
Smalley at the final corner as well, and he goes third. Good lap time by Smalley, 16.5, set of medium compounded tyres. Now, I said during the week, we normally see medium compounded tyres to a set of soft compounded tyres gain in terms of the time around 8 tenths per second in terms of this track. It can be more, it can be less, but it all depends on what sort of driver. That lap time set, and the Haas has just spun behind Smalley, and that was Caldbury, I think, through turn number 2, getting caught on the curb. Goodness me, I've never seen that before. Luckily he ghosted. Otherwise, if he ended up about 10 feet further on, probably would have crashed into the back of Smalley, and there would have been 2 penalties for them both. Rudy, though, out on top, Med TC second. Jensen now third, and Jensen on that set of medium compounded tyres, 16.5. Good lap time so far, but Rudy already setting the benchmark time. I think Jensen, though, will probably hold something in reserve for later on in the session.
Yeah, just to quickly update you on the soccer game, it's going to Pedley, so it should be over by the time qualifying ends here. If we would not get sued into oblivion by English football, we put it in side by side, but sadly that is not possible. So make sure if you have your own little device and keep it side by side. Keep the stream here, keep the stream there. And I wonder if some drivers maybe not heading out, like waiting just to make sure that game ends and see what happens. So I'll have to wait and see on that front. But anyway, without seeing as we kind of go through it, Smalley is on, I think he'll be pulling in this time by. Looks like everyone is going one lap, and that is that. I don't think anyone's pushing. I think Carlsby, though, he's spun, so he's on a cooldown lap, and Chunky Chicken. So I think that is the major first run done here, and I don't think anyone else is going to take an attempt. I think you see something that's a little bit comical.
Did you just say Chunky Chicken there?
Did I say Chunky Chicken?
You sounded like you said Chunky Chicken there.
Well, the funky chicken is a very chunky chicken, and the chunky chicken is coming in the pit lane right now. I hope he is not watching, because I may have just gave him a new nickname. But anyway, though, 11 minutes to go. And, yeah, I think that's kind of the first wave done here, and we'll see some other drivers make an attempt relatively soon.
See, Fleddy heard that as well. I didn't mishear that at all. Rudy out on top, Med TC in second, Jensen in third. Ares, by the way, good luck from him. He went fifth, 23 flat through the first sector, but a 16.6 through on his lap. So the AlphaTauri there in fifth position, of course, brand new driver into AlphaTauri this season. I believe he's a reserve, actually, if I'm not mistaken. So Ares there filling in, of course, in the AlphaTauri. And again, with 15 drivers, a bit disappointed in terms of the attendance. That's why Zoidema obviously has joined the fray. He's down there in 12th position at the minute, 120.2. Very familiar driver, of course, to you and me last season in TTML F2 as well. Black Box, though, he's now onto a set of soft compounded tyres. Let's see what he can do. Coming through the right-hander of turn number 1, through the left-hander of 2, and then through the right-hander of turn number 3. As now, we'll see, on board with Black Box, coming through the end of the first sector, where he is comparison to where the first sector should be. 21.6, there or thereabouts, I think, in the first sector. So Black Box now coming through turn 4, on the run down and towards say at turn number 5, and again really avoiding the curbs. He's trying to maximise the run. He maximised the run too much, and he backs off the lap now, coming through the exit of turn 6, and Black Box through 7 and 8. He's still carrying on. It looks to me though he's got a very unstable setup, and that is something that you don't want around here, as he's just invalidated through turn 9.
They say what they say, though, is loose is fast. You want to keep that curve just loose enough that you get that good in-speed corner. If it's too tight, it's going to start plowing. So loose is fast, but maybe a little bit too loose. But since park permit is a rule, he's not going to be able to make any adjustments to that setup other than front wing. So he's going to have to kind of deal with it and hope he can wrangle the beast at the very least. On that, MetTC is currently also going through corners, about to go through corner 6 here. 6, 7, 8 complex. We'll see what he can do here. Can he keep his foot down? Can he gain some time? Actually, he's on an outlap. My mistake. Actually, no, MetTC, sorry, that was Jensen. MetTC is 8/10 up. I'm in a rough day, all right? It's been a long day here. MetTC is coming through the third sector here as well, keeping the power down relatively okay here. He's through corner 13, and we're going to see he's got one more corner of the nose gate here, one hairpin. So we'll see what he can do on exit here. Can he get a good exit? It looks like it's going to be an improvement. Can he get up to Rudy? That's going to be a Herculean task to catch him. So we'll see what he can do here down the straight. It's going to be a 1:15.947. So an improvement for MetTC, but not enough to get any farther up to Rudy. And Rudy, it still looks class.
Khan in the wall coming out of turn number 9 as well. Front wing has gone completely off the car. I'm very surprised he's not at the session how hard he hit the wall there as well. But a 17.3 current his best. He just over pushed it too much coming through turn 9. He took too much curb, spun literally into the walls and rode on ball with him. And Khan unfortunately there in 11th position, 17.3. It'd be none of the worst though, but he's coming back into pit lane still with under 9 minutes to go. Really out on top, MetTC second. Funky Chicken has just started up on lap 1. Rocco I think is on a lap as well. He's coming through the Project Cars 2 sort of approach there, coming through the left and right chicane. Jensen is invalidated through the first sector, so coming through the middle sector, he's not going to improve, obviously. He'll probably go for another lap, I would think, because they normally run quite high fuel loads and obviously try and get another lap time in. Smalley there in 4th. He's just starting up on a lap. Lynx as well as Rudy goes even quicker. 15.5 on that set of soft compound tire. Rudy did say to me last week that Spain was one of his top tracks, and that is proving to absolute good effect. Lynx, by the way, though, 4.5 up in the middle sector. We'll see what Lynx can do. Just catches the curb through turn number 10 at La Caixa, now through turn 11, and then through the right hand of turn 12 at Bank Sabadell. And we'll now see what Lynx can set in terms of turn 13, and then in towards the final sectors of 14, 15, and then to the right hand of 16 there is an Alfa Romeo round in the first sector. That must be Smalley that has spun coming through turn 5. Lynx though on the run to the line, 16.1. Good lap time from Lynx. He found a bit of time in that middle sector, but in the final sector I should say, but really out on top, MetTC second. And do you know what, if Jensen even gets close to that, I'll be very surprised.
Yeah, Jet seems to be struggling a little bit here. Looks a little bit human as he's been having problems validating. Does have a purple sector 1 though, 1/10 up. It's a little bit more fool's gold than it's worth. Fuel light is on though, so hope he's got enough fuel in it to make it down a run here. So keep an eye on Jensen here as he's going to go through 6, 7, 8 here. Again, it's all time can be gained, all time can be lost. How aggressive do you want to be on the throttle? Go a little bit too wide, you invalidate. Put the power down too early, you may end up spinning. So it's a risk-reward situation. It looks like he's going all for it. Gets a good exit. We'll see where he is at the end of Sector 2 here. Is he up in his times enough? He is 6/10 up. That would put him right up between Lynx and MetTC. So he's going to really need to find some good time in this third sector here. Not a lot usually can be gained for the most part. Most of the time he's found in that second sector. But maybe, just maybe, our championship leader can find some time here. Last couple corners to go here, 14, 15. Going to try to get a good exit. Get on the power as early as you're there. One more corner to go. Kind of flat-foot it. Get down. Put the power down. It's going to be an iffy lap. You think it's going to be pole? No. It's not going to be pole. It's going to be 1:15.701. He's going to split MetTC and Rudy. I didn't think it was a pole lap, but I think I was right on my prediction there. But he's now P2 at the moment. He may back down. We may see him go for one more run. Is now Aries 8. Just crossed the line as AlphaTauri, and that's going to be a P3 effort. So MetTC needs to find some more time, and the times are coming down, though. So we'll see if anyone can beat Rudy's times. I think Rudy just switched to a set of soft tires, so he's gearing for at least one more run.
Bas Bremer's on a good lap here, coming through the final corner as well. Of course, he formerly CPI bars, and now comes to the line. 16 flat, goes 5th. Good lap time from him, found a second on his time. And that's what I was on about in terms of the improvements from a set of mediums to a set of softs. Obviously, you will find the time around about a second, 8/10 to a second normally. You can get up towards 1.2, 1.3 seconds in terms of improvement. But Rudy out on top. Jensen there in second, Ares in third. I still think Jensen though has got a little bit of time in that lap, especially coming through the first sector where he was purple in the middle sector. The final sector is what led him down slightly. But Jensen, 15.7, is up there in terms of Rudy, and it's currently a rule reversal, of course, will have happened last week. Rudy out on top, Jensen second compared to the race result. Last time out, of course, Jensen won, Rudy in second, and of course, finishing third was MetTC that day as well. And Good evening to everyone, by the way, that is in the comment section. Quite a lot of support there for Khan once again. Kermit putting in a lot of emojis, which is good to see. Not sure what they call them on Twitch, to be honest. I'm not sure if it's got a specific language or anything like that. And Freddy is also... Emotes. There we go.
Yeah.
Emotes, emoji, same thing, really. Freddy as well. He's got COVID. That's why he's not racing. Freddy, we wish you well, of course, my friend. Hopefully you are back to your fine self, and hopefully you're back to racing here next week. Chalker's coming through the final corner for the ERT team. On the run to the line, he's actually just invalidated as I go on board with him out the final corner. This is next lap invalidation as well, so Chalker's not on a lap. Carlsbury is, though he's 2.5 turns up through the first sector. 21.5 through the first sector, not too bad. 50.1 through the middle, so he's just lacking a little bit in terms of his time through the middle sector. We'll see now what Cosby can do. Do the right-hander of turn 12 of Bank Sabadell, and then diving down towards 13, of course, where the MotoGP and the Grand Prix layout normally intertwine on this track, and he gets caught on the curb slightly, has to correct the car through 14 and 15, and straight into the pit lane, which is typical.
Yep, into the pit lane go with 3 minutes to go. He couldn't really put another lap down there and have enough time to get back around, probably take one more attempt, so it makes sense. Save your stuff, go for one more push lap, and see what you can make. But what shots is METTC decided to shoot a shot early. He'll be probably making his last run here. He's going to have a slow car just ahead of him. He'll get around him smallly. And it looked like through his first sector, he didn't make much time of improvement. So METTC's going to have to find some more times. I think Jensen and Rudy are now heading out as well with 3 to go. So this is going to be the put up or shut up time here. You may get 1 more gun or 2 more guns if you invalidate. So we'll have to wait and see on that front. But METTC coming through the corner there of corner 9 at Kamsa, and he's going to take the run down. We'll see where he is at the end of sector jumps. It's only 52 tenths up. That probably will put him where Aries is, but unless he finds really a lot of time in that third sector like Jensen did, it's highly unlikely he'll go any higher, though. So we'll see what METTC can do. A couple more corners to go. 13, 14, and 15 here. Keep your nerve. Keep the power down. And if he doesn't feel like this lap's good enough, maybe bail on it? Nah, but he'll have to finish anyway because this is put up a shut-up lap. So here he comes, METTC down the line, and it's going to be a 1:15.724. He'll jump Aries, but just be a little bit too short on Jensen to get any higher. And with Jensen and Rudy still time to put laps down, I think it may be curtains for Med getting that pole run.
Yeah, definitely so, unless he's got something special in that first sector especially, because he was slightly down, and I mean he's running so far wide. Kimi Räikkönen would even be proud of that, to be honest, around here. Rudy out on top, Jensen in second, METTC in third. Currently, as you say, though, Rudy and Jensen on that laps, and actually they're close to each other, out on track. So we'll run above with Jensen. Black Box is further on lap, he's through the first sector as well, but Jensen will ride on board with on the run down and towards turn number 1. 15.7, this is a must-have lap, but he's already invalidated through turn number 1. Rudy has nearly done the same thing as well, coming through turn 2, and then through the right hand of turn 3. So we're right above with Rudy then, 15.5. Jensen has got room, I think, for another lap. As long as he's got enough fuel, he'll have to go for another run, but still less than 2 minutes to go. Plenty of time to get around the track where he is. He's just through the end of the first sector, and actually following Rudy's footsteps, it seems, around the track. Rudy, though, out on top, Jensen second, METTC in third. Let's see what the Mercedes can do, though. Coming in towards the final couple of corners, by the way, is Black Box. We'll run on board with him now. The Aston Martin coming through the right-hander of turn 16 at New Holland on the run towards the line. It's a good lap from Black Box to the line. And he goes 7th, 16.2. Not in comparison, of course, to the other guys. Rudy is 300s up, coming to the end of the middle sector. Can the Mercedes now latch himself a possible another pole position? Jensen is further down behind at the minute, 15.7 compared to 15.5. Rudy, though, out on top. Jensen in second, METTC in third, who's retired, coming back into pit lane. So he shoots his shot, and simply his shot was not fired as Rudy is actually into the pit lane. I think he spun out the final corners there.
I looked at it. It looks like I got a little bit loose and maybe decided to bail it there. He had 48 seconds, but I think he used a lot of his ERS and fuel load. So I think maybe he felt kind of confident. Mind game. Jensen obviously is going to gun up for one more run here. We got Aries on a run as well, so let's keep an eye on him as well. He is currently through, actually, I was going to say 789, but it's actually through corner 3-4 right now, so he's currently in the first sector. Seeing if anyone else is on a run, Smalley is, but he's got 1 lap old tires. Funky Chicken to the third sector, so we'll see what the Mercedes driver can do. 5 tenths up on his times right now. That would probably put him around P6 if he can hold, maybe P5 if he can find a little extra time here. So we'll see what the Funky Chicken can do through the last corner, get the power down, and it's going to be a 1:16.083, which would put him P6 right between Bass, Berman, Lynx, and Bus Wanted. Goes P9 in his Alpine, so see if anyone else is kind of close right now. I do because the session has just come to an end here. I think. Oh, you see something.
Jensen's on a flyer here, 49.7 through the middle sector. He's 900 up on the time of himself at the minute, but Jensen is flying on this lap, coming through the left-hander of 11 and 12, now through Bank Sabadell at turn number 12. Let's see what Jensen can do, though, in towards the final couple of corners, through 13, through 14. He'd have to be on the limit all the way throughout this lap, now through 15, and then in towards New Holland corner at turn 16. Is it going to be enough for Jensen? Takes the thin line around the final corner. I think he might nick it to the line. He does, 15.4. Jensen gets pole position. Rudy there in second. Is anybody else actually improving? Lynx is off a lap. Funky Chicken is off a lap. Bass Bramer, I think, is also off a lap as well. We're on a board with Bass Bramer. I think he's only 300 down in his lap. 16 flat at the minute, but it's Jensen out on top. Rudy in second. MedTC currently third, and Rudy's lap time as actually Bass Bramer is invalidated nearly at the final couple of corners. Bails straight into the pit lane. That is now another fly being swallowed. That is the end of qualifying, and it's Jensen out on top, Rudy in second, and Rudy's second to last lap almost completely cost him, because he was on a flyer, he was up in the first and middle sector, didn't improve in the final sector, he must have spun coming out of turn 15, which is why he nearly ended up in the right hand side on the wall, and Rudy did not get an actual time, an actual valid time, and to really put it up to Jensen. Jensen steals it late on, Rudy in second, MedTC in third, and it's exactly the 1, 2, 3 that we had in Bahrain.
I honestly think Rudy kind of is going to kick himself there. He had the chance to pole, and kind of threw it away, and Jensen had that late round championship fight, that 12th round fight magic, and he was able to take pole position and maybe kind of showing what I said earlier about second half adjustments, and Jensen kind of looked, maybe not dead to rights, but looked like a P3, P4 car, and now he's sitting on pole position while Rudy was looking strong all night, is now going to be sitting P2 off the grid. Now, obviously, qualifying doesn't mean anything. Rudy gets a good launch at quarter one, he passes Jensen, and this is all not, but it's better to have that just that little extra advantage going into one than being behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, definitely so. Jensen, though, out on top from Rudy in second. Rudy might get the better run down in towards turn one. We'll have to wait and see. MedTC them in third. Arrows in fourth. Lynx in fifth. Funky Chicken in sixth. Bramer in seventh. Black Box in eighth. Boss Wanted in ninth. Smalley, interestingly, in the top 10 on a set of medium compound tyres. Surprised that not many drivers went for it. Zerdomoy in 11th. Carlsbury, Khan, Chalkers and Juan Rocco, who is supporting the Ukrainian flag, I noticed as well. Very good to see the sportsmanship. Haven't seen many drivers actually do it. We didn't ask drivers to do it as well in TTML this week, but given the actual scenario that is happening and the actual atrocities that is happening here, of course, in the world right now, in Ukraine, drivers supporting them, I totally respect it, and it's a fantastic, fantastic cause, obviously, to support.
Yeah, it is a good cause to in sport, as penalties are still going on the way with Liverpool and Chelsea, by the way. Right now I'm checking, it's 9-8 Liverpool, so
What?
it is still going. Yeah, that is, goalies aren't really doing their job, as they would say, and that, I was going to say, where I was looking at it, was keeping updates on it, I'm like, alright, 3, 4, 5, this should be over before the session starts. Well, penalties are still going, so maybe by the time our formation lap's in, we can welcome the champions, the EFL Cup champions in here, and let viewers can switch over, as I would say. But anyway, race about to start here, and we'll see what tires are selected here for the most part, as it looks very gloomy.
Yeah, it looks very gloomy indeed. It looks a bit overcast here in Spain. That could only mean one thing, perhaps. Is there going to be rain coming in this actual race? I don't think there will be. I think it'll probably brighten up at 5-6 laps into the race. However, I do stand to be corrected. Also, update on anybody that might have been watching the Firestone Grand Prix. Of course, the IndyCar in St. Petersburg. Not St. Petersburg in Russia, luckily. Of course, the one in America. McLaughlin won, Palu second, Power in third at the end of that race. Very, very interesting result. Grosjean, by the way, fifth, and my favourite, Takuma Sato, back down in P10. But
hey, I agree with you. Sato fan. Hey, that's good to see.
Exactly. He's an absolute living legend, not only in IndyCar, but just in motorsport in general. Why wouldn't more people support him, honestly? But back to the action here, of course, in TTML F1. Top 10, of course, qualifying on that set of soft compound tyres. Bar Smalley, of course, on that set of mediums. Interestingly, Chalkers has gone for a set of hard compound tyre. He will probably last around 24-25 laps before pitching in for a set of softs, given that there's no interruption, of course, to this race. Everyone else, Zoidemer, Carlsbury, Khan and Juan Rocco, and actually both Ferraris have had a collision coming out of turn number 9. Juan Rocco as well, all on a set of medium compounded tyres, and probably the mediums is probably the tyre to go on for the start.
Yeah, I think mediums will just be strong at front, but you got to try to work your way through the traffic to make it work. But you will have that advantage at the beginning of the time. But like I said, if a safety car does come out, you're going to have to try to make those tires stretch and last, and how conservative you can be on that rubber will decide your fate. So I think medium's definitely strong, but depending on how the playbook goes, they may end up being a bane of existence, depending on how it ends up showing.
Definitely. So I'm going to ask you this question, by the way, while I'm adjusting my glasses at the minute. Who's your top three?
We'll go Jensen, Rudy, and then I'm going to go wild card, because I call them Chunky Chicken. I'm going to go Funky Chicken for a third here. So I'm going to give him a little bit of a nice little bone there and make him a little bit happier and try to give him the last step of the podium.
Interesting indeed. Apparently Liverpool has won, if I'm not mistaken, looking at the comments, certainly from Kermit. But here we go. TTML F1 about to begin. It is going to be Season 7, Round 2 of the Championship about to get going, of course, here in TTML F1. I'm not sure what the hold-up is actually doing. And now drivers begin to load up in the lobby, and already we're going to get a first-time start. So 5 white lights are on, and it is... Lights on, away we go, and there's a bit of a jump start there from Funky Chicken, who absolutely nailed the start, and actually Jensen is going to be under pressure, maybe from Arrows down in towards turn number 1, certainly Rudy will be, and it's 3 wide in the background, Jensen leading the way in towards turn 1, and MedTC will get second position through turn 1, and needing the Mercedes and the AlphaTauri make contact, Arrows coming across, Rudy nearly on MedTC there as well, and rejoining track, Jensen is already nearly a second away, MedTC in second, Rudy in third, and Rudy trying to go all the way around the outside, one Rocker was round, coming through turn number 3 in the background, and Rudy's contact MedTC, and the AlphaTauri's been taken out as well, and that's Bas Bramer that has been taken out. Ghosting system fails, that is a reset the track as well for Bas Bramer, not allowed of course, so he'll be getting a penalty. Rudy, by the way, is looking, has he got a problem perhaps, maybe with gearing or steering or something, he cannot get going at all, and this car might be disqualified from the race, and it's going to be an absolute tragedy for Rudy, and he has been disqualified from the session. He cannot get that car going. Surely it's throttle and brake related in terms of his setup, and unfortunately it looked like he was beached in the gravel as well. Really disqualified from the session. Not the actual start that he would have been hoping for, but the Red Bulls absolutely excelling out in front. Jensen leading the way, MedTC in second, and MedTC got a good start. Rudy though was on the outside of him towards turn 4, and they made contact through there. Really, I think nobody's fault, because honestly the first lap pretty good in terms of the action halfway down the field as well. One Rocco, of course, spun through turn 3, but Jensen leads away, MedTC second, Arrows in third.
Yep, that is how it goes, and sometimes that's just how the cookie crumbles. You have bad rounds, and Rudy, I just kind of feel for him. If he qualified first, this may have not happened, so, and it just is going to be kind of somebody that's playing his head all till next week, but still plenty of rounds left in the calendar, so chance to make a mistake. We'll see Jensen maybe make a mistake once they're in the round, and he'll be able to capitalize, but still long season to go. Hopefully he can rebound. Otherwise, though, as we do see Bas Bramer pitting to obviously change his front wing, and see a little bit of kick up as the gravel on the point. Looks like everyone's kind of just getting settled in here for the most part. Honda 1, 2, 3. We do got Lynx in 4th there, and Smalley on his mediums all the way up to 7th, so trying to make as close as he can to stay in that train and maybe make that alternate strategy work for the Alfa Romeo driver, as I believe Black Box could... Nah, he's a little bit too far away to make something happen on Carlsby, but definitely setting up something to happen with those soft tires. But yeah, everyone kind of just getting in a lull here for the most part, and maybe waiting to strike when the kettle gets hot.
Just riding on board with Black Box there. He was so late on the brakes behind Carlsbury. He might have a run down in towards turn number 1 perhaps. He is looking quite close and looking quite clean in terms of his actions so far out on track. Jensen leading the way though. MedTC in second, Arrows there in third. Doing a good job, the TTG man. Lynx is going to try and chase him for 4th position at this moment in time. Funky Chicken has dropped outside of a second compared to Lynx. DRS of course has enabled round on turn 10, or round turn 9 and 10 this time around. Funky Chicken is not going to be close enough to the back of Lynx. Khan further down the field as well on Chalkers. Both of them had a bit of contact, and looking in the Discord, Chalkers apologising, which is good to see, and Khan apparently caught him off guard. So hopefully nothing like that happens, of course, in the race. But Jensen leading the way, 6/10 of a second down in front. Still very gloomy conditions, of course, here in Spain. MedTC in second, Arrows in third, Lynx in 4th. Not really any moves going to happen, I think, up and down the field, because everyone just seems to be quite, well, same times away from each other at this moment in time.
Like I said, a bit of a DRS trade. I was going to say Botswana could make a move with Chicken. Botswana just got a little squirrely coming through the complex of 7-8, and that's going to allow Smalley to get on by with his medium tires. So, slight mistake by Botswana there. Can Botswana make something happen? Because he would have DRS, I think, off Chicken, but yeah, not going to make anything accordance there. Now, Smalley will be next man up, but before that happened, I was going to say is that Chicken's kind of lost touch to Link, so top 4 in their own little DRS train, and then you got Chicken leading the train all the way to Zoidema, and then you got Chalkers and the 2 Ferraris kind of in their own little Noah's Ark situation, 11 and 12. But, yeah, a bit of a breakaway from top 4 and 5th on down. And if Chicken can't get a move on, he may be a sitting duck sooner rather than later, though. But Boss Wanted could maybe make a move on Smalley here. Can he make those softs work? He's getting a little bit out-towed, though, so highly unlikely unless Boss Wanted really lunges on those brakes there. Though he will not. But Khan will make a move on Chalkers, though, so the Ferraris do up swing spots as the Williams has gone off in corner 16, off into the gravel trap in an odd place to crash. And
no safety car.
Session done for him. Yeah, he's way off the circuit, so highly unlikely they'd call it, but very odd.
You never know with this game, though. I've seen safety cars deployed for just a little bit of contact with drivers before. Jensen leading the way, MedCC second, Arrows in third, Links in fourth. Juan Rocco, though, was left the session, so that might now deploy a safety car if that glitch still remains. Boss Wanted, though, still on the back of Smalley. Smalley just runs wide, coming out of the turn 7 curb there, now through turn 8, and then, of course, in towards turn number 9, and Boss Wanted, all over the back of Smalley, runs very wide, and now Boss Wanted, look at the run he's going to get compared to Smalley. This is going to be sailing down the inside line from Boss Wanted, down the inside line goes the NLR man, and Black Box dives on Carlsbury as well. Carlsbury falls down wide, and Black Box, to be fair, gives up the place, because Carlsbury now rejoins in front of him rather than behind. That is good sportsmanship there from Black Box. Clearly felt he was going to get them, not going to get the move there. Waiting behind. Good sportsmanship, and he may as well just wait behind for the foreseeable future, I believe, at this moment in time. Jensen not leading the way, MTC second, currently a Red Bull 1-2. Alice 11th, third, Links in full, Funky Chicken and fifth. Boss Wanted in sixth, he's now hunting down Funky Chicken down in towards turn number 1. Black Box, though, on the back of Carlsbury. Is he going to get quite close enough? No, I think he's just going to wait in behind for now. Really is unfortunate after session after that disqualification. And to give you an update on the football, Liverpool won 11-10 on penalties.
Yep, they won 11-10 on penalties. Their high-scoring penalty game, almost like a game of American football. But anyway, when I looked back at the situation with Gironjo and see what happened, he went right wheel first into the wall there. So I think he may have spun it coming off corner 16, tried to save the correction. It sent him off into the kitty litter and ended up shearing his wheel off, maybe in a low-speed crash. So that's what happened. So further down the field, we do got Zoidema possibly making a move on his teammate there. Actually, Carlsby, sorry, my mistake. Black Box was making a move on Carlsby, not Zoidema. So we'll see if anything can get a good run here up the road. Black Boss Wanted, can he make something happen on Chicken? No, he cannot. And again, everyone just kind of sitting in the train right now because it's hard to break that toe with DRS, and with that dirty air, you can get close, but not close enough unless you really can outpace your opponent here. But Boss Wanted is really getting close to Chicken because Chicken has no DRS, and I sense a pass happening probably down this long straight here with Boss Wanted getting around Chicken.
Yeah, definitely so. Black Box still on the back of Carlsbury. He's absolutely itching to get past the Haas there in front. Of course, Haas running that traditional white livery now for pre-season testing around here in Spain, and now Black Box just comes out of the slipstream. Absolutely saunters past him. Boss Wanted is going to get through on Funky Chicken as well. In towards Son of One just ahead, but Black Box is through. And he's into 8th position. Boss Wanted there through as well on Funky Chicken, and he's through and he's into 5th, and Funky Chicken might be a chunky chicken after this, and he's now maybe on his way winging it to KFC. That was bad, I know. Carlsbury, I think, went out what a Black Box. Yeah, my puns are even worse, to be honest. Carlsbury on the back of Black Box. It looked like Black Box actually made a mistake slightly out of turn number 3. He took the very thin line on the curb, pretty much. Normally the line that I take to save the ground on this track. But Black Box there, 8th position. He's now beginning to come through the field. In terms of positions gained, by the way, so far, look at that sea of green out on track. Bass Bramer and Rudy, of course, losing 13th position. Bass Bramer already into the stops, and he's also losing time to the likes of Khan and Chalkers ahead, which will buoy Khan on a base, of course, after his performance for round 1 of the championship, finishing with the wooden spoon. But Jensen now making his installment clear, 9/10 of a second, and this indicates to me Jensen possibly next time around, or certainly in a couple of laps time, he'll be coming into the pit lane very soon, because the gap is now a second, and MedTC is going to be running in a bit of a train at the minute. He's still got the DRS, luckily, but I think for MedTC, if I was playing tactically, I'd want MedTC maybe behind you by around a second, so you can back off Ares and Links going into the pits.
Yeah, because remember, MedTC is towing Ares and Links to him, and that could end up being a little bit of a mistake. And again, MedTC is kind of in a rock and a hard place situation because they're probably not going to pit on the same lap, but undercut being a little bit potent around here, you want to have a rush to the pit lane, and whoever leads obviously controls who goes in first, unless through communication. But yeah, you kind of want to back up Aries and Lynx a little bit so they're not hounding Jensen if he decides to go for the undercut, or vice versa. So it's a bit of a strategy game here between two teammates and two unwilling participants to see who could end up coming out with the lead through pit stops here. But further down, again, everyone's just kind of holding station for the most part. And yeah, I think we're going to see a major shakeup when pit stops happen in a few laps' time.
Yeah, pit stops will begin to happen normally around lap 8, lap 9 they begin to come in around here. Can extend the stint a little bit further, but Jensen though, still holding sway out in front. Still very, very gloomy over the circuit. I thought I saw a drop of rain there slightly, but that's probably just my eyesight giving me a little bit of jiff. But Jensen leads the way. METTC in second, Aries there in third. Further down the field though, Smalley applying a bit of pressure now to Funky Chicken. The Mercedes now under pressure. He's on to the mediums, of course, Smalley. And Smalley, the Scotsman, doing a good job. But look at the way that Funky Chicken just pulls away from him down the straight, given that Smalley's running no deployment down the straight. Probably why Funky Chicken gets onto the back of Boss Wanted and towards turn number 1. Not close enough though for a move. Everyone just settling down, I think, at this point. If you're expecting an absolute free-for-all in the first half of the race, don't. Second half of the race is probably going to be better than the first.
I would probably agree with you. It seems like it's going to be a second half race rather than the first half race. Maybe the late safety car gets thrown into the mix, or maybe just pace on range. I think as desperate as the laps go on, and to quote Scuba-san, no attack, no chance. So it's going to be a situation late on. You're going to see drivers really trying to take all they can get, no give, all take. But other than that, though, yeah, again, everyone just kind of holding station and maybe just waiting for the inevitable Armageddon to strike.
Yeah, Armageddon will definitely strike, I think, out on track. The moves, though, for the pit stops, I think, will begin to happen very, very soon indeed. 1 lap 8 now, we should start to see at least one of the Red Bulls, I think, come into the pit lane from the lead of the race. Whether it be Jensen or METTC remains to be seen. I think, though, Jensen will probably have first orders over the pit stops. Is he going to come into the pits this time around? No, it's actually METTC, and he takes the ball out with him as well. And I think track limits and track entrances, pit lane entrances are also under threat here, of course, through here in Spain. So that means that METTC could be looked at the steward. Smalley, by the way, is looking past Funky Chicken in towards turn number 1. Absolutely saunters by him. Funky Chicken has got to come under pressure as well from Black Box in behind, but he's not close enough down in towards turn number 1. And again, Black Box late on the brakes, completely late. But Funky Chicken there stays in P6. Smalley now ahead of him in P5. And METTC, by the way, now coming out the pit lane, and he's rejoined in P12 in complete and utter clear air. He's nearly 2 seconds ahead of Bas Bremer, which is going to be, I think, pretty difficult for Bas Bremer unless there's a safety car.
Yeah, Bas Bremer is basically praying for something to hit here in order to get back in this race. But yeah, that's something. What's worth noting though is Jensen is definitely probably on an in-push lap here because he's gained a second over Aries. So with METTC pitting in, and METTC was only about 4/10 off Mr. METTC. Now Aries now about a second out, so definitely can't really reel in Jensen for the most part here, and is struggling to kind of stay within touch distance. So that could end up helping maybe METTC stay ahead of Aries and Lynx. We do have a Sector 2 that is one of the Ferraris around. That is Chalkas, who will get refired. No safety car really online here, but definitely a little bit of a embarrassing moment, as I believe, yep, Jensen, Aries, Lynx standing out, though. So top 2 pitting, and along with 4th Boss One and Chicken and Black Box, but Lynx staying out along with Smalley, but Small at least kind of makes sense on his mediums.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Ares, by the way, hit the pit wall coming into on the left side end plate. He's got no front wing damage on the car, but Ares, I thought, just clipped the wall coming into the pit lane there. Must have got away with it, and Ares now is coming out. Where is METTC? METTC's going to be ahead of Jensen. Interestingly, METTC miles ahead of Jensen. In fact, he's not miles ahead of Jensen. I thought that was Jensen coming out the pit lane, but the timing's just covered his car coming out the pit lane. Jensen there in 7th now, METTC in 6th, and it's a second now between METTC and Jensen. And this is going to be quite interesting now, because they now hold control over the race. What does METTC do? The will in him will probably be thinking, I want to get this race win. But then the driver in him, and obviously with his teammate being behind, will probably think, oh, I'll get out of the way for my teammate, and then Jensen can pull away in the standings with, of course, Rudy not picking up as many points as what we're thinking, and, of course, picking up no points because he got disqualified, of course.
But again, METTC's not here to be second fiddle to Jensen. METTC wants to win something. METTC wants to be champion. This isn't like a round 8 or round 9 situation where Perez Chalk gets 3 from off the warnings. But it's in like late season where Perez maybe uses a roadblock for a championship contender. METTC can still set his time here as Lynx now comes in. We'll see how far back he loses time. But MetTC is going to try to set his own pace here and show that I can be just as fast as my teammate here and wants to set the bar here. So he ain't going to let Jensen run without a fight here. And he is going to make sure Jensen, if he gets by, he's going to have to earn it. And hopefully the two do not touch, similar to Hamilton and Rosberg in 2016. And Link's going to come out behind Aries and even Boss Wanted. So just showing that actually he'll come out ahead of Boss Wanted, but going to come way far behind Link Aries, which is about 2 seconds. So it just shows that the undercut is not the smart. The undercut's a lot potent around here than the overcut.
Black Box, by the way, getting the move done on Chokers down in towards turn 1. I think Funky Chicken on the set of medium compounded tires is going to look for the move in towards turn number 4. He'll open up the taps now to go on the inside line in towards turn number 4, and the Northerner down the inside line. Should get Chokers here through turn 4, force him out wide. Perfect move, Funky Chicken through, and he's into 11. Nicely negotiated move that. Chokers hung out to dry on the outside. Of course, being a right-handed corner, you hang out camber to the left, and Choker's been on the outside. You hang further out camber compared to what Funky Chicken was on the inside. Lynx has now picked up a penalty for turn 9, and Funky Chicken now through and he's into 11th position as well. But Smalley leading the way. Cosby in second. Zoideman, though, beginning to get into this. The Dutchman, of course, he's currently in P3 at this moment in time. A third of the way through the race, of course, here in Spain. And Smalley leading the way. 2.2 seconds extending that gap out. But Zoideman now will probably just wait in behind. Maybe for a move to happen. Speaking of moves going to happen, Jensen, I think, on the back of MedTC. This is going to be a characteristic move as he sets the fastest lap of the race. Breezes past MedTC down the straight. And Jensen now, the set and stall was quite literally for MedTC to play second fiddle, and that's as simple as that. They've got Khan ahead of them. Jensen now through them, he's into 5th, he's now in the net race lead. Red Bulls now, I think, probably given the pace that they've got over Ares, they can probably have a go at each other. And speaking of having a go at each other, Funky Chicken on the back of Black Box as well, for P10. And again, on that set of mediums, he looks quick, but Black Box holding them off for now. But yeah, Jensen now ahead of MedTC. I'm not sure how that one lies with you.
I kind of see right now, I'm getting flashbacks to Bahrain right now with Jensen leading, and they're coming up on alternate strategy cars. And remember last week, Jensen was able to make quick work of them while Metzi, and Rudy kind of got hung behind. So it's a situation where, again, maybe same song, different dance, where as it looks like Metzi is going to try to make a move on Khan here, and he's going to kind of punt him there. So like I was saying, it seems like Jensen can get through the field like with butter, and now Med Steve's going to lose a lot of time because of the roadblock that's Khan right now, just kind of blocking the way. And yeah, now Khan's basically going to be out of DRS range by the time they hit it, so that is time lost by Med CC, and he's going to have to hope that Zoidema, Carlsby, and Smalley can really hold the point and keep Jensen back, or else Jensen's going to sail away as Med Steve's going to finally get around the Ferrari, but definitely going to be a little bit mittened with Mr. Khan in that Ferrari.
He'll be frustrated, I think, by MedTC, but Jensen now 4th position, MedTC now 5th, and look at the gap, actually, it's now 8 tenths of a second. It was 5 tenths of a second. Funky Chicken, by the way, through on Black Box through turn 1. I think he got him on the inside line. MedTC, though, don't think he'll be happy with Khan. Khan went out wide to let Jensen through, and basically he wants to try and get into the gap in front of MedTC, which he nearly did, but there was contact between them both, and unfortunately for Khan, might go down in the stewards room. MedTC might report that. I think it's 50-50 though. Probably he'll go no further action. But MedTC held it behind Jensen now, 8 tenths of a second behind. Won't be happy, of course, with the actions of the Ferrari, but in terms of MedTC, his race hasn't really cost him that much, to be honest.
Yeah, no, he luckily kind of got out of it unscathed. The only thing to worry about is if he got any minor damage, because that was a little bit of a touch, so it could be very minor, could end up kind of costing slight downforce, but the very part, he's still hanging on for the most part on Jensen, so again, if he end up falling out of DRS range, I think Medzi may be more likely to report to the stewards, but with Khan just kind of, him still in DRS range, he's kind of like, I'm upset, but he had a right to be there, and I'll just let it go for the most part. But yeah, they're next now trying to chase down Zoidema, who is 6 seconds behind, so highly likely they'll catch them before they have to pit. So Khan did just come in for a set of hard tires, and like I said, everyone's just kind of rolling away for the most part right now, but MedTC just biding his resources behind Jensen, but Jensen has a ton more ERS than MedTC.
Yeah, I think this is looking pretty much only one race at the minute. Jensen and MedTC, everyone else can fight out for the scraps that's going to happen in behind. To be fair, Ares is 2.5 seconds ahead of Lynx, and they were around a second compared to everyone else. In terms of long strategy, I see Jamie there putting in about the long strategy. I commentated on TTML F2 during the week, and also did FRL F1 and F3 pre-season on Tuesday around here. And it was really interesting because drivers, I think, the likes of Jensen, the likes of MedTC, they're very good with their tyre wear. They can probably get to the end of the race on that set of medium compounder tyres. Now, Karna's obviously gone for that set of hard compounder tyres, thinking that the mediums won't last. Will they last, though, towards the end of the race? I think if you're very good on your tyre wear and you're only losing them in around 4 or 5% a lap, you'll probably be fine going towards the end of the lap. Because remember, when I normally say this is, 10 laps will get you 40% on your tyres, 20 laps will get you 80%, so if you calculate up from around now on the race, these tyres are around 15%, say, there's pretty much now around 60%, 65% to go, which means Jensen MedTC, for me, they're going to be on around 15 to 20% tyre wear. They'll probably be on 75, 80% tyre wear come the end, but they should be fine, I think.
They should be fine, but again, we know puncture rating can be around 70, 75, so one long little press, and that may end up be tire gone. And if they start fighting and scrapping, obviously more wear for more pushing. So they're kind of their own worst enemies here, that if they kind of hold station and say, all right, we'll fight near the end, it's probably going to end up hurting MedTC, because MedTC obviously is going to have to try to hang in the toe and just kind of be there and end up kind of just getting the 30 air first tires. But if they end up kind of scrapping of who wants to be the leader, they may end up kind of hurting their own tires, and they may have to pit, and that could maybe fall in the hands of Ares and Lynx, who right now, they're kind of on islands right now. They can kind of just right now, the only way they get back into the race to win this race is they're going to need a safety car or both the two leaders to pit. So they're kind of just holding station. Just maybe save your rubber here late and just hope that maybe something happens with Jensen and MedTC.
Yeah, possibly so. I mean, Black Box now on the back, however, of Funky Chicken. This is coming down towards turn number 1. Can Black Box fight back on the Chicken ahead of him? Black Box, very good normally down in the straight line speed, but closing in, he looks quite weak, to be honest. He's got to wait in behind, not using up any deployment down in towards turn number 1, and Black Box will remain in P10 for now. Currently, everyone out on track is going to be getting points, at a minimum of, I think, 7 points, if I'm not mistaken, as well, in that. Smalley leading the way, Cosby in second. Zodimer was applying pressure on Cosby down towards turn 1 last time out, but didn't actually get there. Jensen there in 4th, MedTC in 5th, Aves there in 6th, Lynx in 7th, Bus 1 to 8th, Funky Chicken in 9th, Black Box ran off the top 10. Chalkers in 11th, Karn in 12th, and Bass Bramer there in 13th position. But on board with Zoider, trying to apply a bit of pressure to Carsbury. These guys are going a little bit longer on their tyres compared to Karn, probably for one reason and one reason only. We'll try and get a set of softs towards the end of the race.
Yeah, I think Khan kind of figured he was a sitting duck here, and he's going to lose so much time, you and the softs wouldn't save him, so he's like, or maybe he kind of felt pressure from the cars catching him. He didn't want to be a moving chicane, because he's still kind of learning the ropes, so kind of came in, but top 3 know that they're going to stretch to make it work. And again, with no pressure, because Jensen and the boys have only made 3 seconds up on Zoidema, and that was 6 laps, so 3 seconds and 6 laps. So kind of at the rate they're going, they'll catch him probably they'll catch Zoidema in about another maybe 10 laps, and it's 4 more laps, and they'll probably catch Smiley in about double that, so probably about 12, 13, but probably most likely at that time, Smiley will be in the pits.
Yeah, Smalley will be in the pit lane probably by then. He is pulling away, actually, from Cosby and Zoidemer. And Jensen, as you say, 3 seconds the gap. They are catching, but purely because the DRS is so potent around here, that is why Cosby and Zoidemer are gaining the time compared to Jensen and MedTC. Through the corners, Jensen and MedTC are quicker. Down the straight, they're not. There's more corners, luckily, around this track than straight, but Smalley leading the way, and he has now pulled out a considerable gap to Cosby. Say 3 seconds the gap, so this now means, I think for me, Smalley is going to come into the pit lane this lap around, because Scotsman looks like he's powering ahead. Cosby and Zoidemer just falling over each other and behind pretty much, and Smalley is not coming into the pit lane. I was so convinced, but look at the time he is gaining compared to Cosby. Zoidemer, by the way, I think has just made a major mistake out the final corner. Drops to within drops outside of a second, but he has got DRS out of the final corner, luckily, and Zoidemer can run back into that second gap that he obviously had coming down the straight. But Cosby there in second, Zoidemer in third, Jensen fourth, MedTC in fifth, Ares looks like he's coming under a bit of pressure from Lynx as well. 2 seconds the gap. Now, 2 seconds might not seem like much around this track, but it is. Lynx, though, I think, slightly fresher tyres. He looks quicker as well, and Lynx is now beginning to get onto the back of Ares. And speaking of on the back again, Blackbox was right on the back of Funky Chicken again, not trying to get the move done in towards turn number 1.
I was noticing that Black Box is really just kind of just like, I want to make the pass, but just can't find any avenue to make it happen. He's just stuck, and I've had that feeling before where, like, come on, I can pass you, come on, let me go. And it's like you just get towed out, and you're like, you get stalled out, and you're like, ugh. But Jensen has really ruled in Zoidman his past 2 laps. I was going to say it took 4. It's going to probably be half distance. And here's Jensen and MetTC, and like I said, maybe shades of Bahrain where they catch the slower cars. If Jensen can cut his with his field a little bit quicker than MetTC, that could be the deciding factor for this race. So MetTC is going to have to basically, when Jensen goes Yang, MetTC is going to have to go Ying, and they're both going to have to make moves simultaneously here in order to make it work. But yeah, they're probably mostly not going to catch Smalley before it's done and done. As I think Zoidman may make a pass on Carlos here, just want to finish the point, and he will. So Zoidman kind of senses pressure, maybe they're coming, is going to take second away from Carlsbury.
Yeah, you've got to cover the same thing as me there. Zoidman getting the move done through on Carlsbury. Soon he's into second. The Aston Martin there now ahead of the Haas. The Haas doing a good job there in third. But now Jensen and MetTC have reached the traffic of Zoidman and Carlsbury. They're going to run a big DRS train. This is going to favour them more than hinder them, to be honest, because Ares is so far behind. He's, what, 5 seconds behind nearly on MetTC. More than 5 seconds behind on Jensen. And Ares has just simply not got the pace compared to them, as MetTC has picked up a penalty. And now that will put the precedence really on Jensen being still first-time driver MetTC now with that 3-second penalty, being second-time driver. Cosby very, very wide coming out of turn number 9, and is Jensen going to be close enough down towards turn 10? No, waiting behind, coming through the Kaiser. MetTC closes back up to the back of Jensen. And Carlsbury, if he holds Jensen back up enough, MetTC could possibly get a run on Jensen in towards turn number 1. But I don't think that is going to be in their playbook at the moment in time. Zoidman is pulling away now from Carlsbury. Carlsbury's tires look shot. He needs to come into the pit lane, surely. Is he going to free them up? No. Jensen is going to have to do this the hard way. I think Carlsbury is outside of DRS as well. On Zoidman he is. And now Jensen on the run up towards turn 1. He hasn't got much straight line speed at all. Look at the red light flashing for Carlsbury. Jensen now looks to the inside line, but he cannot simply find a move done. And Jensen, the more time he's held up behind Ares, the more time he's held up behind Carlsbury, I should say, the more it's going to gain for Ares. But now in towards turn number 4, we should see it like Funky Chicken did early on in the race. He dives it down the inside line, gets the job done. Beautiful move there. He waited, he was patient, but he got the move done. And Jensen now through and he's into P3. And MetTC has got to do exactly the same thing now.
He's got to make it quick, though, or else it's going to be curtains. And I think MetTC kind of was low in there a little bit, maybe struggling a little bit on this long run here, but he really was not in the back of the Red Bull driver, really capitalized. So this gap's forming right now. Carlsbury is now holding up MetTC. MetTC is going to have to press the issue here. He's going to have to make quick work of it. It looks like he will on the Haas driver, and he'll successfully get around him. So gets it by, and now Carlsbury going to fall down here. So MetTC, oh wait, here comes the Haas driver, going to answer back, and that's what not MetTC wanted to see. He was like, stay in my mirrors, please. I do not need you fighting me right now. But Carlsbury was not going to take it lying down, and now MetTC is out of DRS range. He's 1.1 back, so he needs Zoidman. And now Zoidman pulls in. I think MetTC may have some choice words for the Aston Martin driver, because that was just like he needed one more lap. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Jensen also got DRS off Zoidman, but also MetTC also to get DRS as well, so he'll be luckily saved and be able to pull himself in. But definitely a bit of a shake the fist moment, as I think Ferrari is around in near Sector 3.
Yeah, definitely so. The yellow flag in Sector 3, I think it's for Chalkers, if I'm not mistaken. He's just lost a bit of time there to Khan. 4 seconds now behind. Funky Chicken, by the way, is trying to get the move done on Black Box, who I think passed him last lap around, which we didn't cover. Black Box through, then he's into 7th. Funky Chicken and now 8th. And apart from Smalley, who was still out there on 20-lap-old mediums, 20-lap-old mediums that could get to the end of the race, by the way, so my predictions could be right. Smalley leading the way. Jensen now in second, MetTC in third, and without him coming into the pit lane, it's going to give Jensen and MetTC something to think about. But I think Smalley, given how much deployment he's actually used up on this lap, it's a similar amount to Jensen, but I think Smalley possibly going to come into the pit lane here. Chalkers, by the way, also into the pit lane. He's coming back out of the pit lane. He's 12.5 seconds behind Bas Bremer, who is now in 12th position. Hopefully going to be getting to the end of the race as well. But Smalley now out of the final corner and dives it into the pit lane. And, oh, I thought he was going to go in the wall there, coming coming in the pit lane for Smalley as he speeds into the pit lane. And I think he was 2 miles an hour over there coming into the pit lane. Smalley now, where's he going to come out? Maybe ahead of Black Box here.
We'll have to wait and see. He did have enough time. He probably will stay ahead of Black Box. That speed penalty is definitely a bit of a kick in the teeth moment. We'll see how it shakes out here. He's left the pit lane as we speak. Black Box down long straight. Yeah, he'll come out clearly ahead of Black Box. Chalk gets another 3. It's been a race to forget for Chalkers.
Oh, Carlsbury.
Yeah. Ooh, Carlsbury making a pass on Zoidema and successfully makes it happen. So Carlsbury up to 9th, Zoidema down to 10th, and Smalley comes out 1.4 clear of Black Box, and he'll have the fresh tires, so definitely will probably be able to hold on to 6, but how high can he get with that penalty in the back of his mind?
Given that it's lap 22 out of 33, Smalley, for me, he'll get, I think, onto the back of Boss Wanted, but then the struggles are going to begin to happen. Smalley, if he is quick enough on these tyres for a good 4 or 5 laps, he will close in a Boss Wanted in 4 or 5 laps, I would think, because the set of softs is superior to the set of mediums around here. But the problem is, he is now going to have to do it his own, because he's pulling away from Black Box, he's now gaining on Boss Wanted. This is all about Smalley trying to come through the field. They're in P6, 6 seconds to gain. Might not seem like much, but it is a big advantage around this track for Boss Wanted to have. And whether Smalley or not can get onto the back and then pass Boss Wanted is another thing, considering those tyres are going to be pretty shot towards the end of the race.
I mean, you saw how long it took for Metisi and Jensen to catch the 6-second gap of Zoidema and Carlsbury, and that was even with a tire disadvantage as well. So, tire advantage as well, and that took about 7-8 laps. So, in reason, they could catch him, but then, like you said, when he hits him, his tires are probably going to fall off. And then he'll be at the mercy of, because remember, Boss Wanted doesn't have a penalty, Smalley does. And if Boss Wanted can kind of reel back in Lynx here in Aries, or they get fighting, he could end up being on the podium. So Boss Wanted has a lot to fight for as well, because if he can try to get a push on, he could maybe, just maybe, sneak a podium out with Lynx and Aries fighting.
Yeah, definitely so. There are fights happening further down the field as well. Black Box on the back of Funky Chicken. Zoidema still on the back of Carlsbury, and these two are actually catching the battle ahead. So, these two battles are going to now be intertwined within one another. Funky Chicken 7th, Black Box 11th, 8th, Carlsbury and Zoidema in 10th, and Carlsbury just outside of a second at the minute, but maybe going to try and get the run on Black Box in towards turn number 1. Jensen, by the way, still leading the way. 7/10 of a second coming out of the final corner at New Holland. Metisi there in 2nd, Ares there in 3rd, Lynx in 4th, Boss Wanted in 5th, then it's Smalley, Funky Chicken, Black Box, Carlsbury and Zoidema run off the top 10. Khan, Bass, Bramer and Chalkers look like they're going to be picking up possible points as well in 11th, 12th and 13th position. Carlsbury again on the back of Black Box coming out the final corner, 5/10 of a second away. He's not going to be close enough down and towards turn 1, but he's inching closer and he's beginning to get there.
He is getting to get there. Now Smalley gets another 3. Just any chance Smalley has now, probably finishing 6th, is probably just gone out the window here. So, bit of a kick in the teeth moment, as they would say, and he is just kind of losing his touch here. But yeah, kind of looking for the rest of the field. Black Box got a bit of a Chicken's got a train for him behind him, and Metisi is again slowly reeling in Jensen, but is going to need some help there to make something happen for Jensen to make a mistake.
Black Box took such a thin line coming through turn 4 as well. He nearly got the run on Funky Chicken in towards turn number 5. Jensen, by the way, leading. Metisi in 2nd, Ares there in 3rd. Lynx now on the back of Ares. That has caught up quite quick. Goodness knows where that 2-second gap was eroded from. Black Box, though, was under pressure from Carlsbury, and shooting the fin is going to be down the inside line. He on the Brit. He's going to have to force the outside. He dummies him to the inside line. Carlsbury, that is a perfect move down the inside line. Had him for absolute chips. That is the move of the season. Carlsbury through, and he's into P8. He dummied him to absolute perfection there on that fresh set of soft compound tyres. Really nice move. Black Box, by the way, gave him a lot of room in that as well. Great driving from them both. Carlsbury through, and he's into 8th. That was a very, very nice move.
Beauty overtake right there, and Zoidema's kind of wondering, what do I have to do to get around Black Box as well? And yeah, hats off to Carlsbury there. Beautiful overtake, and he's going to try to make a 2 for 1 here, and he's going to make the pass on Chicken here, and he's going to hesitate the inside line. Can he outbreak him? He is, yep. So Carlsbury making quick work there in that Haas, and he looked a little bit slow near the end of his run, but really coming to life on those fresher tires right now, and definitely making more work on the field when Zoidema's struggling here. Zoidema now gets actually, they didn't get around Black Box. Yellow flag sector 3, that is a Ferrari ride. I think that is Chalkers. Yes, it is. He'll get it refired, but definitely, again, ego kicker there. But, yeah, Zoidema just, again, seeing his main rival kind of going off in distance here is going to have to make quick work of both his teammate and Chicken if he wants to possibly end up getting 7th position, or maybe even 6th, if they can reel in Smalley with that big penalty gap that he has.
Lynx, by the way, 4 tenths off the back of Ares. There's a very intriguing battle going on between them both. Ares currently holding P3. Lynx has got up to the back of him, and it's almost as if he doesn't want to try and go for the move, because Ares just slightly messes up coming to the right-hander of New Holland. By the way, in terms of my prediction, in terms of the mediums getting to the end of the race, I think it's looking pretty good at the minute, because Jensen, MedTC, Ares, Lynx, and Boss Wanta all out on the set of mediums, Funky Chicken as well. So it looks like 6 drivers potentially could be making it to the end of the race on that medium compound of tyre, and normally when they've got good tyre wear they can make it quite well into the end of the race. And I mean, in the pre-season race that I saw in FRL F3, we saw a driver do 30 laps on a set of medium compound tyres, and somehow he only had 88% tyre wear, I think, and didn't get a puncture.
Wow. Impressive. Like, not even kind of no cap. That is impressive. Definitely a hats off moment. Now, Ares gets another 3, so that's going to put him up to 6. And now Lynx kind of can play with his food here a little bit, but here's something that's going to kind of catch the moment. Because remember, Boss Wanda is 2.6 back of Lynx, and Lynx is 3 back on Ares. Right now, Boss Wanda has that podium spot, so Lynx can't just sit back and be cautious, because if Ares holds Lynx up, Lynx falls into the clutches of Boss Wanted, and they both end up kind of hurting each other and gives the podium to Boss Wanted. So Lynx has to make the move now with Ares' penalty now known, and he has to force the issue, but he just gets a poor exit off 16, and that ends up killing his run down the straight. So he needs to kind of capitalize on those mistakes and make something happen. Well, actually, never mind. He may try a lunge here. Sees in the dangers. MetCC gets another 3, and there goes Lynx around Ares. So now Lynx has to run away and hope Boss Wanted can't catch up. And yeah, Lynx now, at least for now, holding the last step of the podium at the very least. And now with MetCC getting that another 3, it's looking even worse for his chances of winning this race, as now Chalk gets another 3 as well. He's up to 14.
Yeah, he does. Let's have a look at the penalties, actually, as we come towards the end of the race. 6 seconds from MedTC. Lynx is on 3. Ares is on 6. Smalley is on 8. Khan and Basbrain are on 3. And Chalk is on 14 seconds worth of penalties. Absolutely unbelievable. Hopefully, though, everyone is enjoying their race out on track tonight. Hopefully you're enjoying it from home, of course. If you're liking, of course, the action, follow us on Twitch. Don't like, comment, subscribe, tick that notification bell, of course. If you're new, if you're watching on League Racing TV, you can do that later on, probably tomorrow when it gets uploaded. But Jensen leading the way, MedTC in second, 9 tenths of a gap of Jensen currently holding sway over MedTC. Just thought I'd mention, by the way, I've just seen a post from Babs, our social media manager in TTG. I think her and Conti, I believe, are celebrating their 5-year anniversary together, which is very nice indeed. So, big congratulations to you both. And they're in Belgium, in Bruges at the minute, hopefully stuffing themselves with some nice chocolate.
I was going to say waffles, but I guess that's one of those like Family Feud questions, or whatever the equivalent in Britain would be. Just what was the top 100 answers the answer to the survey?
Funky Chicken, I thought was going to get the move done on Carsbury. Sorry to have cut you off, but Carsbury stays in 7th. Funky Chicken there in 8th. You can continue on.
Really, that was basically the end of the point there, just pointing a little bit of a cultural difference there. But yeah, the racing is a bit more important than our opinions on Belgian cuisine. But anyway, Jensen leads the way. MedTC 6 tenths back. Lynx 6.8 back of that. And like I said, the hunt now is not. I think Ares was really struggling in the race, so I think Ares, any chance of him getting back to Lynx is gone, and I think Boss Wanded's kissing his chance at the podium goodbye as well. But yeah, top 2 have been kind of in their own little world here for the most part. But yeah, main thing to kind of keep an eye on is the battle for 8th, 9th, and 10th. Chicken and Black Box have been scrapping ever since, I think, lap 5, I want to say. And they're continuing to scrap, and eventually one of them is going to come out on top. But the question is, which slightly greenish car with a dark tint is it going to be? The Mercedes or the Aston Martin?
Possibly, I think the Mercedes, because Funky Chicken has looked quite good compared to Black Box now in the second half of this race. Funky Chicken has done a good job. MedTC, by the way, is trying to pressurise Jensen for the race win. I mean, he needs to pull away 6 seconds if he gets ahead of Jensen, but he's keeping Jensen quite honest, and it just comes to show, I think, how the Red Bulls have had an absolute stranglehold over the race. And I said before the season actually started as well. Red Bulls will probably be towards the top end of the Constructors' standings. Again, something that is right compared to my prediction with Iona and TTML F2. Jensen leading the way, MedTC in second, Lynx in third. Ares still trying to hang on in there for fourth, or for possibly third position, but at the minute Lynx putting away. Boss Wanted is now, I would say, out of sight possibly in terms of a possible podium, but you never know if Lynx picks up another penalty. Chalkers has just picked up 17 seconds now, his penalty's adding up to, as he's picked up a 3-second. Boss Wanted, he needs to pick up the pace if he wants to get a podium, simply.
Yeah, he's running out 3.4 back on Lynx, so he is closing a little bit on Ares, but the problem is Ares is losing time on Lynx, so it's not end of the world, but I believe, just to kind of confirm my tire suspicion here, if I ever find the right button, there it is. Yeah, Lynx has 1 lap pressured rubber than Ares and Boss Wanted, so it's not looking good at the most part, at the very least. One other thing I do want to point is how Khan gets 3 warnings, is the delay's not that bad on Twitch in comparison. It's only about 5 seconds compared to YouTube, which is probably about 10 to 15, so not that bad of a delay at the very least. So one interesting thing to note from the streaming on Twitch to streaming on YouTube. But yeah, as now Bass Burma gets 3 as well. We still got a big fight in the back here. Carlsberg's got a bit of a train form behind him, with Chicken still pressurizing the Haas driver, which is kind of shocking. Haas only had 8 lap bolts off and is really under pressure. Now Metzzy gets 9, and hold on a minute, folks. That could be a situation where maybe he falls outside the top 3.
Could be a situation as well where Lynx might get second as well. 7 seconds off him. He is losing time, Lynx, but MedTC, 2 lap older tyres, could they hit puncture territory towards the end of the race, perhaps? Who knows? Jensen leading the way, MedTC in second, pretty much guaranteed them first and second, or at least a step on the podium for MedTC. Lynx there in third, pulling away from Ares and Boss Wanted. Boss Wanted, though, again, gap coming down. It's around 3.2 seconds between Lynx and Boss Wanted at this time, and Boss Wanted now, I think that call, possibly to pick up the pace, I hope he's listened to the stream, because he has picked up the pace, and it's now pretty much dead on 3 seconds. So Boss Wanted clearly picking up the pace. He's got the same strategy as Ares. He's looking better in terms of his tyre wear as well. Boss Wanted not out of this yet.
Yep, gap is 7.4, it's 1.1 point. Actually, I think it's now under 3 if my math is correct, or at least close. So
yep.
He can catch the back of Ares and then get a little bit of a tow. Yellow flag sector 2, that's the Ferrari going a wee bit slow there. No trigger of a safety car. It's too late for one to come out anyway, but that was the case. I think Boss wanted to be praying for a miracle if a safety car came out, because that would be basically a P2 for him, no matter what happens. And even Carlsberg Chicken could gain a lot of spots, so. But with a little too late in a safety car, no chance of that happening. It's probably curtains on that. But yeah, gap is now, I believe, 2 seconds. And the thing is it's 7 on 2. That's about 9 seconds. There is a chance Boss Wanted could leapfrog his way into second if he can just keep the pace up. He can maybe get a second place out of this. It just shows that keeping it clean could end up being beneficial.
Yeah, he could potentially. Looking at the gap, it's around 2.8 seconds now, I think, Lynx and Boss Wanted. And it's sort of squirreling in between 3 seconds, I think, at the minute. It's probably an average of around 3 seconds. Chalkers, by the way, is into the pit lane. There are the penalties, by the way, as we go on to the final lap of the race. MedTC is not going to attack Jensen in towards turn number 1. Would have been nice if he did, but he's got 9 seconds worth of penalties now, has MedTC. Jensen there in the lead, MedTC in second, Lynx there in third. That's what I'm trying to get back to, by the way. It's the interval timings that I'm trying to get back on my screen. Funky Chicken, by the way, is going to make a move on Carlsbury. Carlsbury's a setting duck down the straight. There goes Funky Chicken. Possibly there goes Black Box as well. He's going to filter through on the outside line in towards turn number 1. And he breezes around the outside of Carlsbury, and he's cut up on the slight twitch there from Carlsbury, caught up on the pass, and Black Box is through, and he's into 8th position. Carlsbury now down to 9th, and Zoiderman now, all of a sudden, is looking right on the back of Carlsbury. Carlsbury, again, is tyre wear, not really helping at all here tonight. Zoiderman now on the back of him. Carlsbury's lost 2 positions in the space of as many corners. Black Box, though, around the outside line, he squeezed him. There was still room to the the right-hand side on the curb for Carlsbury to go. He didn't choose that, and the contact, I think, Black Box had the car ahead, and Black Box, in my eyes, had the position.
Yeah, Black Box had the position there. Carlsbury just kind of tried to hang in there, a little too late there. Odd brass spinner was pitting this time by, won't be able to go for the fast lap, so bit of an odd choice here. But anyway, we start the last lap of the race. Jensen leads the way. MedTC really lost touch distance there on Jensen. And yeah, now the question is, will the penalty shake up, and can Boss want to keep the power down and possibly end up getting a podium here? Only 1 lap will show on this, and will Black Box finally make a move back on Chicken here. He's got one more straight to do it, but it looks like Chicken gets a good X as Bass Burmer kind of holds back. So I do see the gap between Boss One. It's pretty close there. Something happens. Let me know. But here he comes
on the back of Ares. It's towards turn number 4. He's going to launch it down the inside line. Can Boss Wanted get this move done? Ares nearly forced into a mistake, but Boss Wanted stays in behind. He has to overtake him. Simply, he has to go for it. He's waiting in DRS. What is he doing? He's losing time. Boss Wanted, now 3.4 seconds. I don't think he's going to get it, because Boss Wanted, as long as he gets this overtake done, he might get 3 seconds to Lynx. But it remains to be seen. Jensen, by the way, is absolutely flown on this final lap. He's 1.3 seconds clear of MedTC, and the Red Bulls now coming around the final couple of corners. Jensen has locked once again, quite simply, dominance once again here in Spain. Coming out of the final corner, Boss Wanted, by the way, didn't get Ares down in towards turn number 10. Jensen, though, around the final corner. He's got to take the win in Spain. Jensen to the line, wins in Spain, and becomes a dual winner of the Grand Prix this season. Lynx, by the way, is coming out the final corner, and I think he's actually run out of fuel. He has! Lynx has run out of fuel. I think he's got a puncture as well, and Lynx on the run to the line. He's got a puncture, and he's lost his podium. Boss Wanted in third, Lynx in fourth, and he had a front left puncture through the final corner. Lynx, so unfortunate. It looked like he picked up the puncture possibly through 13 and 14, and Lynx has lost his podium by around 2.5 seconds in the end. Boss Wanted finishes in third, Lynx in fourth, Ares in fifth, and I will eat my own words quite happily earlier on by saying Boss Wanted, he had no chance getting the podium. He has got a podium, all because of Lynx getting a puncture, and he's the only one actually in the top 5 that actually did.
Yep, he was the only one to get a puncture in the top 5, so bit of a sad thing there. Lynx was looking good to get that last step of the podium, and ends up just getting kind of unlucky there, and it ended up costing him. And now Boss Wanted gets the last step of the podium, so it looked like Boss Wanted was probably done, so after couldn't make that pass, and ends up paying up, and he gets driver of the day, which you could probably argue is probably up there in consideration, at the very least, for getting it. But yep, here's your top 3 coming out to the podium here. Jensen, obviously, again, looks like in a kind of a world of his own here. If TMC could have kept it a little bit cleaner, maybe could have put a fight late, but just ended up getting 9 seconds, ended up being his kryptonite at the very end.
Yeah, definitely so. Jensen, though, once again, top step of the podium. The Brit excels once again here in Spain. MedTC drove a fantastic race, I think. He's certainly looking back to his brilliant best as per the F1 Esports Challenger Series, which he obviously competed in. Probably looking better than he is here than in that. Finishes in second, and Boss Wanted, of course, in third. And to run you through the podiums once again, Red Bull won 2, by the way. They excelled their Constructors' Championship. Jensen leading the way, MedTC in second, Boss Wanted in third, Lynx in fourth, Ares in fifth, Black Box in sixth, Funky Chicken in seventh. Only 0.2 of a second off, actually, on Black Box in the end. Somali in 8th, Sodomer in 9th. Yeah. They both had penalties. Carlsbury in 10th. Khan in 11th. Bass Bramer in 12th. Chalkers in 13th. Somehow managed to get round under his own volition and pick up fastest lap of the race. And actually, I've just realised Bass Bramer and Chalkers have got the same lap time. Who gets the fastest lap point? Can this be P12 and 13? And that potentially, because it's showing Chalkers on my screen, I think just give them a half a point each and have done with it, to be honest. Juan Rocco and Rudy both ending off. It counts Rudy as a DNF. He got disqualified actually out of the race. Chalkers and Bass Bramer, that may be squabbled and might be set with a 3-lap race, perhaps the fastest lap point. Jensen, though, out on top. MedTC second. Boss Wanted in third. Shall we try and get the top 3 in?
I've added them to the party. We'll see if any of them elect to join. They can join anytime. But, yeah. I hope they do join, because we do have some questions that could be worth noting. But yeah, I think the Bass Bremer Chalker situation, just flip a coin. We'll see what happens. Just let's see who gets it. Just rock, paper, scissors or something. But yeah, that is very odd. They both finished with the same lap there. But they may end up getting the Chalkers just because it probably goes farther into the seconds. But who knows?
Who knows? I think, honestly, it was set after Chalkers' lap time was set after Bass Bremer's fastest lap. So I think that's why Chalkers might get fastest up the race.
Someone just brought something up in chat that's good, worth noting. Remember, Lynx pitted 1 lap earlier than both Boss Wanted and Ares, and yet his tire ended up puncturing and not Ares's or Boss Wanted. It's just showing a bit of an unlucky situation there.
It just comes to show what I highlighted, of course, when they came into the pit lane. Mediums will get to the end of the race. There's always that question, though, of a possible puncture. And if you're very good on your tyres, which the likes of Jensen were and the likes of MedTC were, you will get to the end quite comfortably. at the end of the race. And speaking of Jensen, we can now speak to the man, of course, who finished in P1. And Jensen, once again, first half of the race, not as much as exciting as the second half. Talk us through it, because it was another dominant win.
Yeah, thank you. Don't really know what to say about it. It was just like Bahrain. Bahrain, it was interesting at first, but Spain, me and Med got away, and that was pretty much it from then on. We just pulled away. I just kept on pulling in my DRS, and in the end, if I did break out of that, he might have lost. I don't know if he would have lost a position or what's it off his penalties, but I mean, still, we got the 1-2, so it's all about.
Yeah, 1-2 finish, obviously very solid in terms of the Red Bulls. Were you always feeling, was there any communication between you both saying, METC, you're going to be second driver, I'm going to be first driver? Was there any intention of him to attack you in the later stages of that race?
I mean, we didn't really talk about it, we just race on a race. If he had, I hear he have a mistake, and I'll back off and let him come back, and yeah, I let him pit first as well, so he didn't get jumped by Eric. I think that was a big part of that. If we both pitted a lap later, we wouldn't have dropped errors, and yeah, with Med pitting a lap earlier, we managed to both get the gap to him. So, yeah, that's about it.
And of course you extend that championship lead as a result as well, so you must be of course very happy with that, on top of obviously the race win here tonight. Pepsi, I'm going to come across to you. Any questions?
Actually, I don't think I feel like I should have a question here, but I'm kind of blanket, so I'm going to say no on this one. I think you kind of covered all the bases for the most part.
In that case then, final question from me. Just need to get up the calendar once again, because I completely forgot where we are next week. It is Silverstone next week. How do you think you're going to get on with obviously being sprint qualifying and indeed the full feature race as well?
I mean, of course, the last time we did a sprint race, of course, it worked out very nicely. Or both times, actually. I think the only poor moment I've ever had in any sprint race weekend is probably the Imola incident with Tom last season, which I could have got P2 or P1 in that. But I mean, other than that, all the feature races and all that goes, I did well. So yeah,
Yeah, I have to wait and see, of course, how everything goes on next week as we go to Britain. But go and enjoy your evening, Jensen.
Cheers, and cheers for the comms.
Very well. Yeah, very welcome indeed. And we can now move on to your teammate and the man, of course, who finished in P2, and that was MedTC. And MedTC, compared to other leagues that I commentate on you're really hitting form here in TTML. Another podium finish tonight here in Spain. How was that race for you?
Pretty terrible, to be honest. Well, according to lap 1, I don't know what the hell, I don't know what the heck Roddy was doing, but he just, actually kept on turning on me, so the spin was his own fault. But yeah, after it, just sticking on with Jensen for solid 33 laps. And yeah, I feel like I could have maybe challenged him, but Pence, so I just thought better of it. So it's more summary of my race.
Yeah, I mean, P2 obviously, same question that I asked to Jensen as well. In your head, was there any possibility of you trying to launch a move on Jensen, however tempting it might have been?
Couple of times, but then I screwed up, so, it kind of went by.
I'm not surprised in that at all, but it's still a solid 1-2 finish, and obviously you pull away in terms of the constructors as well. Must be quite a good feeling going into next week.
No. Sorry, yes, same as always. So excited.
So excited. Our Kimi Räikkönen that we've got here in TTML F1, which is good to see. Pepsi, I'm going to come across to you. Any questions?
I'm going to steal your last question you gave Mr. Why am I blanking on his name right now?
Jensen.
Jensen. Yep, thank you. I watched you for 33 laps, yet I couldn't. My name blanked there. Anyway, So, Matt TC, I'll ask the same question. With the calendar coming up with the sprint race, how do you feel with the sprint race coming up, and do you think that can be a good equalizer for you to maybe get your first win here?
Am I meant to be excited, or just...
Any emotion, if it may be neutral. A neutral expression would work.
I mean... Yeah, it's a race. I think Jensen will just kick my ass up per usual, so you know. I'll see what I can do. That's all I'm gonna say.
Fair enough.
You could go and enjoy evening, Med TC.
Thanks, and thanks about the comms, James Head and Pepsi. Oh, I have a question. Pepsi Max or normal Pepsi?
We'll go with the regular brand of Pepsi for this one.
Good. Okay, no more questions. Thank you about the answer. It's your Pepsi break.
And I think on that note, we'll probably end it here. Big thank you, of course, to Jensen and Med TC for joining us in the commentary box. Much appreciated, of course, as always, with our top 3 interviews. More action to come, of course, here on Twitch during the week. We are going to be live once again on, I believe it's going to be Thursday night, if I'm not mistaken, with TTML F2. Not sure if F4 is going to be covered on Friday on on the Twitch channel, of course. Of course, this video will be getting uploaded as on League Racing TV. So if you're on League Racing TV, hello. Yes, it's the end of the stream, but I'm saying hello to everyone at the end of the stream there. But of course, more action to come, as I say. TTML F2 more than likely going to be on Twitch going forward from next Thursday, and that's going to be, of course, around Britain. TTML F4, and I've missed TTML F3 on Thursday as well. How bad of me. TTML F4 as well on Friday, and then we're back once again for TTML F1. It should be very good indeed. And, of course, TTML Formula 2 happening on Saturday night as well, and more than likely that is going to be on Twitch as well. So plenty of action to come here on our new Twitch channel. If this is the first time for you actually subscribing to Twitch, please follow us. Please help us out, of course. We're a brand new channel, of course, starting out, and hopefully we can get as good a following, if not better following, as we have, of course, on League Racing TV. Pepsi, I'm going to come across to you. Final thoughts and overall driver of the day.
It was a fun race to watch. A little bit of a domination up front, but still fun little scraps in the back that were definitely worth watching. And honestly, I'm kind of torn between my driver of the day. I'm going to probably give it to Jensen, but I'd love to throw an honorable mention out for Boss Wanted, who, again, made that alternate strategy work, was able to kind of keep his nose clean, and just showed that keeping your nose clean ends up kind of helping out, and he ended up getting a podium out of it. So I lean Jensen because he led from lights to flag, pillar to post, but Boss Wanted definitely would get an honorary vote if I had one.
Definitely so. I think MedTC, his little oar there in the background, was probably thinking you were going to predict him for driver of the day. So I'm going to go MedTC for driver of the day. There you go.
Only thing I'll say is 9 seconds worth of pedally is kind of hard to vote for you, man.
I'll try next week.
I mean, he was the second fastest guy today. Well, he was. I mean, he was equally fastest guy today. So, yeah.
Yeah, he deserves a driver of the day vote from me, anyways. It's going to be a pain for Storm because he now has to put 2 driver of the days in for the app. But there we go. We will end it here, of course, and I will end, as I will be doing with all of my streams of this week, of course, with these very 4 simple words: we stand with Ukraine. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.